This is Talk Radio. We are the Two Mics, and of course that music means only one thing. It is time for Ask Porky. It's our weekly sort of service to the community, you might say.
It is.
Where people can ask questions. They could be about anything in particular, personal matters. They could be about financial matters. Just a question you've never had the answer to. And Mr. Parry is here to help.
I am here to help. I want to change your life. I want to make it relevant to you.
We've got quite a lot of questions here which are covering all manner of different things. You can still send them in if you're quick to our Twitter account, which is at the Two Mics. We've got loads as well, so if they're particularly good, we may get them for you. Here's one from Dave to start us off. Are you still the seeker of truth and justice, or have you retired that branch of the Porky Empire?
No, I'm still the seeker of truth and justice. Okay, I got that sobriquet, because I was determined that I would not put up with hypocrisy. I would not put up with lying politicians. I would not put up with people who were trampling on those who couldn't defend themselves. I am still the seeker of truth and justice.
Indeed.
I will seek truth and justice for the Porky flock.
Okay. Graham says, which country that either of you may have travelled to, although it's not really a question I can answer, has the best beer? So which country have you travelled to that has the best beer?
Well, for me, the best beer is in Britain. It always has been. I don't like beer in America very much. It's mostly bottled, and when they have draft beer, it tastes like lager, so there isn't anything like English bitter over there. I'm not a great fan of German beer. It's very strong stuff, and again, it's very gassy. I liked some Australian beers when I was there. That were quite good, but they're very sort of British-based. But without a shadow of a doubt, give me an English country pub with a range of 6 bitters, and I'll have a pint of every one.
How about this from Jonathan? He says, Dear Porky, my wife has asked for just one present this Christmas and says we need to watch our spending. Do you think this may be a ploy and she may expect more presents secretly? What would you advise?
The secret with presents these days is not necessarily to give somebody an object, but to give them an experience. So what your wife might like is a weekend away, one of these hotels where you get pampered all the time, because that's what women like to do.
Yeah.
Some men like to do it as well.
Indeed.
And
well, you'd go with her, wouldn't you?
Sorry?
Wouldn't you go with her?
Well, not really if it's one of these pampering holidays, because you spend the whole weekend going on these, what do they call them, like... like you get your nails done, you get your hair done,
and all that kind of stuff. Bed at some point.
Well, yeah, I suppose so, and I suppose you can go and play golf or something like that. But experiences, I found, are the answer to the never-ending question: what shall I get them for Christmas?
Just don't kiss her while she's asleep. Is my advice.
Yes.
Dean says, if Porky woke up on a normal lazy Sunday and he could have only one of the two, what would it be? The full English breakfast or the Great British roast dinner?
I understand what you're saying, but I don't have lazy Sundays, and I don't sleep in, and I don't get up. So merely from the fact that when I get up, I like to be out and about very early, maybe 5:30 on a Sunday. Certainly will be this Sunday anyway, because I'm going to watch Everton at Southampton. It would have to be the full English breakfast. The full English breakfast you can pursue really in a solitary fashion in your own kitchen. The roast is for a family event later in the day.
Now, how about this one? It's a Beatles question, I'm afraid. Richard says, what could the Beatles have become if Pete Best had stayed on?
Well, Pete Best didn't stay on because Brian Epstein decided he didn't have the right look. John Lennon famously said Pete Best was a better drummer, but Ringo was a better Beatle.
Yes.
And some people have contested that over the years, and there's always been a debate about how good a drummer Ringo was. I personally think he was an excellent drummer from my limited knowledge of percussion, and I wish he had an Untitled.
Well, he certainly worked best with the Beatles.
Of course he did.
When
he was terrific.
Pictures of the four of them together. Now, this one is quite a long question, so I want you to bear with me.
Yes.
Porky says, John, I have a plan to save the country millions, and you could be the man to push the right buttons because of your enormous influence. Number one, we'll take these one by one, I suppose. Number one, sell the Houses of Parliament to Qatar, Russia and China, as they already own most of London.
No, rubbish decision.
OK, number two, use the money to create a bespoke building somewhere outside Birmingham. This would have attached accommodation to save on second house expenses. It would also discourage the Lord's habit of turning up just to sign the roll and collect attendance money.
No, another rubbish decision. I'm sorry. Matters that pertain to the running of the country have to be based in London.
OK, ban alcohol from the premises. I can't drink when I go to work. Why should they? Also, who wants bladderated lawmakers, and how much has alcohol contributed to some of the recent dubious behaviour?
No, rubbish decision. You've got to have alcoholic bars in the House of Commons.
Right.
They spend their lives there. They spend like 16, 18 hours a day.
He's right. I mean, you don't have a bar. You don't have a bar in this building.
We had a bar in the Daily Express.
Well, yeah.
Daily Express building.
Look what happened to that.
Well, I'm sorry, but it's not unique to the House of Commons.
Okay.
Yeah.
Number 4, employ the same company that do hospital care home catering to manage the restaurants. Perhaps then we would see some improvement in the current appalling provisions.
I don't really care about that. As far as I'm concerned, whoever the caterers are at the House of Commons, fine, no problem. Just get on with it.
The food there is very good.
Food there is very good.
Certainly a lot better than it is in any hospital I've ever been.
Exactly. I've dined in a few of the restaurants and facilities at the HOC, and I've never gone wanting for really decent food.
So you're happy to leave the place as it is?
I certainly am. I think we should get on with another question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's one from Mark, who says, why hasn't Porky applied for the Everton job yet? At this rate, he may have a chance.
It's a worry about what Everton are going to do next, and clearly, Koeman had to go. We weren't able, because it was a very sudden departure, to put a plan in place to resolve the situation then. I have, however, absolutely no doubt the Everton board and the chairman, Mr. Bill Kenwright, will get it right.
Well, let's hope so. Here's one from somebody called D. Gravener.
Yeah.
Does Porky prefer roast duck or duck in orange sauce?
I don't usually eat duck. The only duck I really enjoy is in a Chinese restaurant when you put it into pancakes.
Crispy duck.
Yeah, crispy duck with cucumber and what's the other stuff you put in it?
They do sort of shallots.
No, just cucumber and the gooey sauce and the duck. I love it.
Okay. Here's one from Dean. He says, having had the misfortune to sit through the second half of the X Factor at the weekend, the thought occurred to me that the show would get more viewers if Porky was a judge. Would you consider doing it if asked?
Yes, I would. Yeah, definitely. I would consider doing any sort of judging job on a TV programme assessing talent. I would love to do that in any way. I think I have a lot to bring to the party.
Here's one from Gren, who
Yes.
says, I'm going to see the Stereophonics in Manchester. Just bought 2 tickets for me and my sister-in-law, but she doesn't want to go. Should I make her?
Well, that's entirely up to you. I don't know what reason she doesn't want to go. Sister-in-law's strange relationship to say I'm going to the party.
Sister?
No, sister-in-law, he said.
No, sister, I think.
Sister-in-law. You just read out
sister-in-law.
sister-in-law.
Right, yeah, sorry.
So what I'm saying is, start off with where's your sister, where's your own partner in life, go with the sister-in-law. That could create family tensions. I'd just forget it.
What, just go on your own?
Go on your own.
Okay. Richard says, Porky, is it possible to live a normal life and not ever tell a lie?
Well, George Washington said he never told a lie and he never cried. Frankly, I don't believe either. You have to sometimes be measured and go round corners with the truth in order to keep people happy and not hurt them.
No.
I'm all in favour of that.
Okay. Here's one from Pete, which might tear you asunder. It says, best TV series, Dallas or Peaky Blinders?
Oh, blimey, that's a difficult one. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, well, the Atlantic Ocean splits the two. In England, Peaky Blinders. In America, Dallas.
Eh?
In America, Dallas.
No, he's asking for which one is best. You can't have you can't have the sort of wisdom of Solomon on this one. You have to choose one.
Yes. I would want to watch both. I can't choose between the two.
You can't choose.
I can't choose.
It's like Sophie's Choice.
Yeah.
Francis says, will you ever own an electric car?
No, never. And by the way, Tesla are, racking up huge bills with electric cars. And I read a report in one of the business pages yesterday alleging they're going to have to go into a massive, £2 billion new funding programme just to meet the orders for the cars that they're proposing to build à ce moment.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Gary says this, are you going to get old MG a second-hand Pierre Cardin shirt for Christmas again?
No, he will get for Christmas what I decided to buy him. He was so ungrateful for presents I bought him in the past. He might get nothing.
You gave me a dodgy old shirt.
I did, and what happened
collection.
was the shirt I wanted for you was on order. It hadn't come in time, so I just put something else in the packet as a nominal present. You knew full well it wasn't meant to be your present.
No, I didn't know that at all. You gave me the receipt as if to prove that you'd bought the shirt at Pink.
Well, I had
it's
bought
all
the
on
shirt,
video.
I just didn't have it.
It's all on video. No, you were wearing it. Carl says, Porky, have you ever thought about getting a hair transplant?
Yes.
Have you?
Yes, I have thought about it, but I'm not going to do
Wayne
it.
Rooney style?
Yeah, but I'm not going to do it.
Why
it's
would you do that?
A waste of time. At my age, why would I have the vanity of a man younger? Wayne Rooney wasn't even 30 when he got his done. I'm in the early throes of middle age, so I'm not going to get it done.
Well, I think if you were at his age and you thought, I don't want to be bald, you would do it, wouldn't you?
Of course you would, yeah.
Here's one from Michael. I've just finished my last university exam for the year, and I'm now going on a bladderation assignment.
Yes.
Does this triumph of finishing exams entitle me to partake in bladderation beyond the extent of moderation?
Yes, it certainly does. You can put moderation on hold for your post-examination revelries. Can I tell you this? One of the reasons why I decided only to stay 1 year at the University of Trent was that perhaps it wasn't the best idea to go into bladderation without moderation before the exam rather than after. Yes. I had trouble actually seeing the examination paper that I was supposed to be addressing.
Yeah. Well, that doesn't sound like the right approach at all. You should really wait until afterwards, shouldn't you? Now, on the same subject of hair transplants, somebody here is asking, what advice do you have for someone who is going bald?
Well, the advice I've got is you've got to face up to it in the way you want to. Some people who go bald don't care. Some people say it ruins their lives. Some people, ridiculously in the past, have decided, to get a wig and stick it on the top of their head. Some people go bald because they have alopecia and they can't help going bald.
Right.
In which case, address it whichever way you want. What is, fortunately, a social development of the last 2 or 3 decades is that baldness has been in fashion.
Yes.
So you shouldn't feel out of touch if you're bald anymore.
It's definitely much more sort of trendy.
Exactly.
To just shave your head completely.
It's socially acceptable.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gary says, Mike, can we expect any more one mic shows? And he says, I've got to admit, Victoria Born kept you in line better than old MG has.
Well, Victoria's a great addition to the show, and she was a fine compatriot in broadcasting terms.
While I was on holiday.
While you were on holiday,
Yes.
but you decided to run off and, just go and splash around in a pool. I take the job seriously. I'm always happy.
No, I took my family on holiday.
I'm always happy
Actually.
to row other colleagues into the production and presentation of the show.
Right. Here's another one which is asking you to make a choice. This one about a food stuff.
Right.
Is it a Whisper or a Mars bar, Porky, says Martin?
Neither, actually, because
don't like
I've
them?
decided to take my diet very seriously now.
Really?
And I don't want to
So you've given up chocolate?
I've largely given up chocolate, glucose as well. I do still like fresh fruit and fresh vegetables and all that. Of course, at Christmas, I'll dip into the the quality street and all that kind of stuff. But on a day-to-day basis, I've sort of given up chocolate. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Matt the Rat says, if Porky had to do one reality programme, which one would he choose? Because we were just watching Ian Lee, funnily enough, in the jungle there, doing some really horrible stuff.
No, I wouldn't do it in the jungle. I couldn't.
Mealworms
Because everybody says, oh, well, it's only a short period of time. But I would, for years afterwards, I'd worry that there was still bugs in my body or that things got under my fingernail, which had never washed out, or in my hair, which I couldn't wash out. I just wouldn't do it.
Parasites and things
Yeah,
which you could pick up.
Well, our very good friend, Ross, what's his name? The West Coast Ross, who worked with us in America.
Oh, Ross Mark.
Ross, no, the other Ross, very good-looking Ross.
Ross Benson.
Ross Benson.
Right.
Ross went on a job somewhere in, Asia or something, and ended up in the tropical hospital for tropical diseases with a parasite he'd picked up there. So you're right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, one final question. Pierre says, Dear Porky, when Shankly said football was more important than life or death, was he right?
No, he was saying...
He wasn't quite saying that, was he?
No, he wasn't. A fan said to him, "Oh, Mr. Shankly, they regard football as the same as life and death." And he said, "No, son, it's much more important than that."
Yeah.
It was a whimsical, satirical response because Bill Shankly had a fantastic personality. But of course he wasn't saying... If he had a sick relative, he wasn't saying, I'd rather my sick relative died and Liverpool win tomorrow.
No.
What he was saying, to me, football is incredibly important, and I use that expression just to illustrate it to you.
People take things way too seriously sometimes, particularly in the world of
Yes.
football. That was Ask Porky. There'll be
Yes.
another one same time next week. Coming up, though, we're going to talk about Black Friday.
Black Friday.